What is going on, guys? A tactical tourniquet talk. All right, this came up a little bit ago, and it was on my mind right now. Tourniquets. Yes, carry one. That's the important thing. Yes, carry a tourniquet, have a tourniquet. Having it in your car does not count as having a tourniquet. It should be part of your EDC on your body. Because there's a good chance if you need a tourniquet that you won't be able to walk. And if you can't walk, and you're more than crawling, with your arms to your car before you bleed out, that tourniquet may as well be on the moon, unless somebody else can go get it, and you haven't lost so much blood that you can't tell them to go get it. So I really think you ought to consider having a tourniquet on you. On you, not in your car, not in your sling bag, unless your sling bag is on you. On you means on you, EDC. So with that said, the gold standard is the cat. I think they're on the Gen 7. Any of the gens of cat are probably okay. I think they went from like a plastic to a metal windlass. But whatever. Any of the Gen cats, any of the current ones you can buy are going to be fine. If you find a Gen 5, Gen 6, Gen 7, I think they're on the Gen 7. The cat is the gold standard. It's the easiest to use. It's the easiest to use for beginners. It's the best tourniquet with the caveat for an adult male appendage. Arm, legs, on an adult male, female, most females. It's the best. It's the gold standard. It's the easiest to use. It's the easiest to figure out. It's the less likely to break. It's the gold standard. That said, they're kind of a butt to everyday carry. Also, again, for adult males and females. Even some adult females might be a little bit tiny, but it's the best. It's the gold standard. It's kind of hard to carry, especially with that metal windlass. Now, if you're willing to carry one, again, it's the best. If you generally wear like cargo pants and you want to throw it in a cargo pocket, rock on. It's the best. And if you're carrying one not on your body, in your vehicle, something like that, I still think it's the one to have because you're not carrying it on you. If it's a little bit bigger in your pack, in your sling bag, go with that. There are some other options. I, for a long time, EDC'd a rat. The rat tourniquet is kind of like a thinner, big, thick, heavy-duty piece of rubber tubing that you wrap around, and it has a built-in metal clasp. You wrap it around, and then you clasp it off. It's not as good as a cat. It's not as easy to use as a cat, but it's pretty good. And it's a lot smaller. You can fold it. You can put it in a regular pocket. And what I did, since I carry a spare magazine anyway, I had 2 magazine pouches, and in one I put a rat tourniquet. I also carried a rat tourniquet when I was the commander of a tactical team to stop active shooters. I had enough stuff that I didn't want to take up more room. I would rock the rat tourniquet. The rat is also better on canines and small children. So there's that. It's also multifunctional. You can use it for other things. Anything that you might need a big, thick, heavy-duty rubber tubing that clamps down. You could use it as a pressure bandage. You could, in conjunction with a pressure bandage, you could use it for other than medical stuff. You could use it as a hasty tie-down if you needed to. Heck, you could use it as an impromptu rifle sling if you needed to. So it's more multifunctional. It's considered a big, thick piece of rubber tubing. It's multifunctional. And it's smaller and lighter weight than the cat. Also, what I carry now, because I figured I would try it out and I haven't switched back, is the SWat-t. It stands for like stretch, wrap, and tuck tourniquet. SWat-t tourniquet. It's, instead of a big, thick piece of rubber tubing, it's, if you picture those workout bands, it's like a big, thick rubber sheet. And you wrap it around and pull it tight until the blood stops. It's not as easy to use. It's not as easy to use one-handed for sure. That's one of the big drawbacks to it. You can do it. It's not as easy if you're trying to put a tourniquet on yourself one-handed. That said, it's better for small children and dogs than the cat, and it's more multifunctional. Anything you would use a big rubber sheet for, you could use it for other things like a sucking chest wound, like a pressure bandage. You could use it as a splint. If you twist your ankle, you're out in the backcountry, you get 2 sticks and you wrap it around your ankle to make a splint, or your knee. It's more multifunctional. It's a more multifunctional piece of kit. It's not as good a tourniquet for an adult arm or leg as the Cat Gen 7. Again, the Cat Gen 7 is the gold standard. Those are the big ones that I know about. There are other ones, and those are kind of brand names. Be careful if you're going cheap. There's plenty of places to go cheap. Perhaps not on a tourniquet. Just think about it. I would advise you getting a cheap training tourniquet. I have a cheap training tourniquets in the both in the Cat type and the SWAT type, just to use, because you got to train with them. The other thing is the impromptu tourniquet. It does not take the place of a good tourniquet. But here's something to consider when you're choosing a belt. There's all these kind of really cool high-speed tactical belts for EDC. Can that thing be used as a tourniquet? Sometimes the answer is yes, sometimes the answer is no. It won't be as good a tourniquet as any of the options we mentioned, but could you use that belt as a tourniquet? And this is not an excuse to not carry a tourniquet. You should have both. Sometimes you need more than one. Or sometimes, and this is a real thing, no matter how good the tourniquet is, for whatever reason, one tourniquet won't work. So you leave that tourniquet on, and then above that tourniquet, you put on a second tourniquet. That is a real thing. That is what's advised to do. If that first tourniquet, no matter how good it is, does not work, you put on a second tourniquet. Don't just assume that you're only going to need one tourniquet. So does your belt double as a tourniquet? Sometimes the answer is yes, and sometimes the answer is no. And sometimes some of these really high-end that make really good EDC belts with like reinforced metal or reinforced really thick plastic are going to be able to be twisted in such a manner as to be used as a tourniquet. So I'm not telling you yes or no on that. I'm just saying it is something to consider. And anyway, that's your short tactical talk on tourniquets. I appreciate you guys, appreciate all that you do. You shall not stand idly by while somebody takes the life of your neighbor. That is the tactical verse of the day. Appreciate you and have a blessed day.